Here's Paul telling you his greatest thrills.
My 3 children, their companions, and the 9 beautiful grandchildren. But my favorite memories had to do with music. I started trombone at Beacon Heights, and I went to piano when I was about 12 with Mabel Eisgren. She lived to be 99. She's buried in Tooele, where William Henry and Myrtle are. And then I had first organ teacher was Scott Gillespie, and then Joanne Harmon taught me piano and.
So you learned the piano and the organ how to play it on your own?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The trombone I never had a private lesson.
Oh, okay.
But I had piano lessons from Mabel Eisgren. They were
Okay.
They were $1 a lesson. And then I went to, my dad brought home a chord organ. When those Hammond chord organs, like, they don't make them anymore. And I learned that just to play it automatically because I figured out the chords, and that was like an accordion.
And then you couldn't play basketball because you had a racing heart.
And I played it on TV with Bernie Calderwood for a commercial once.
Through it, he went into great detail with his organ because he couldn't play basketball.
And the famous people I met with, most famous I played for True Grit for John Wayne when he was premiered it in Salt Lake. Keith played the drums. And then meeting Muhammad Ali and Tanya Tucker with you, that was a lot of fun.
So tell us where you worked then we'll go to Mom. Where did you work?
Where I work?
We'll talk Dad. Where did you do, what was your profession?
My first job was working for my mom at Castleton's. I pressed clothes, suits and pants, and Pam worked at Castleton's too. And it's gone now. It's where Dan's Foods and Sports Den is underground in the basement. So then, let's see, then I got part-time jobs at City Electric and a Bolton Nut Supply Company. And then when we got married, I finally got offered jobs from City Electric and Christensen Diamond, but Ford called me and offered me more money, so I went there. Was there 5 years. They paid all the bills for you 3 children through Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they paid 2 years in my University of Utah, and then they terminated me because I wasn't African American. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because then I went in computers where she worked with Marie and her Aunt Iola helped me get the job up there because I had a college degree.
And where was that?
State of Utah.
State of Utah,
at
yeah.
the state office building.
And how long did you work at the State of Utah?
33 years.
33 years.
So I had a better retirement because it worked out good. Now we go back to the Family Foothill Clinic. It's been remodeled. It's kind of weird to walk in a place you worked 5 years.
What about you, Mom? What was your careers?
Where did I work?
Where'd you work?
Oh, my very favorite job was I worked at the Pizza Oven, which was the best pizza in the entire town, and I worked there in high school. And then I would work in the summertime up at the state of Utah filing income tax returns. And then my aunt, who was the governor's secretary at the time, got me a job at the Liquor Commission. So I worked at the Liquor Commission in the summer, and when I finally graduated from high school, I actually did work some school release time and worked at Liquor. And then after the Liquor Commission, I went up to the state of Utah, worked at up at the University of Utah in their data processing. I worked out at Univac for a while when Paula and I first got married. Then I went back to the state. Then I got pregnant with Paula, and I didn't work for about 5 years. And then Philip was going to the preschool down to Wasatch Presbyterian, and he needed to go 5 days a week because there was no friends in the neighborhood that he could play with, and he was bored. So they asked me to come and teach. So I taught preschool at Wasatch for 5 years. Then I went up to the Jewish Community Center, and I taught preschool for the 4 and 5 year olds for about 4 years. And then I was offered a job to do makeup artist work for Estee Lauder, and ended up taking a job at ZCMI. It was ZCMI at the time in Chanel Cosmetics.
The Cottonwood Mall, and I worked there for Progressive.
Then Nordstrom's offered me a job to do Chanel down at Nordstrom's downtown, so I went down to Nordstrom's and worked for Nordstrom's for 13 years. Then I was offered a job to be a sales rep for Monet Jewelry, so I traveled from Ogden to Provo, Provo to Ogden, a couple of times a week to do Monet Jewelry. And then I went to Lactation Station and helped all the nursing mothers, and it was during the time when Paula was having her babies, so that came in handy. And then what did I do after that? Then I decided I wanted to go back to the state and get more retirement. So I took a job at the Division of Motor Vehicle, and I worked at the Motor Vehicle Department for about 7 or 8 years, and I reinstated some time I had, so I ended up with about 13 years from the state. And I did get some retirement.
You retired both at what age?
I retired at 63. Paul retired at
65.
65.
Cool.
They retired me
Yeah, they retired him.
because they had a budget problem.
So yeah, we had a lot of fun.
But one of the interesting things I did is, after 10 years at the state, this guy named Twan Tran said, come go work for computer marketing. It was on 9th East and 33rd South. And a guy named Fred Holcomb. And I worked there, and he let me go right at Thanksgiving. But while I was going to go to Grand Central, be a computer operations consultant, but then I went there and got the job as computer operations manager, but I only lasted 6 months. But the good thing I did there is I took two people, Elsie Evans and Ken Kelly, who both got retirement and died at the state, and a guy named Dallas Francesco, who was my boss when they retired me at the state. So I helped him, they all get retirement through me, which is a real pleasure.
What was your favorite food?
Italian.
What's your favorite food, Mom?
I like everything.
Everything?
Probably chocolate. I was a Coca-holic.
Coke and chocolate.
I was a Coca-holic
and
for
chocolate.
years.
All right.
And then I gave up pop.
When I went to work for the state in 1974, I think it was, yeah, with the computer took up the size of your house. It had punch cards. And I was a supervisor of that, and tapes, no discs, and a printer and stuff. Later on, when we got color terminals and that, we thought we were just, this is wild. And then it got to now, where the computer, that little phone has more power than all the computers I ever worked on put together.
Cool.
We saw
All right.
people land on the moon. The Sputnik went out, so we saw people land on the moon, which was
Apollo born that year
amazing.
in 1969 is when
Yeah.
Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon.
You watched that on TV?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
it was wild.
That was amazing.
Wow.
And let's see.
Landed on the moon!
Yeah. We've had a lot of, watched a lot of presidents come and go. We watched President Kennedy. Everybody knows where they were the day Kennedy died. I was at the University of
I
Utah
was at
just coming
Bolton
out of
Nut
a
Supply.
class.
I was Bolton Nut Supply counting bolts and nuts.
Let's see what else happened.
When I went to Australia, they made fun of us. They said, you guys are racist. We said, well, at least we let the Aborigines in, the blacks.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is,
Right.
Paul and I have traveled since we've been married. We've been to China with Sheldon Poon, which was a good family friend. We
Yeah,
went to
I went to
Peru with my friend Fanny, who was born and raised in Cusco, and went to Machu Picchu. We went to Italy to pick up Philip on his mission, and we went all over Italy,
Took
Pompeii,
Preston Brook,
Rome,
David, Sharon Mickle.
Venice. We loved Venice.
That's my favorite place.
I really liked.
What's your best word of advice? Just one sentence that you always live by. Is there a
Oh,
particular
give us a minute on
quote?
that one.
Dad, is there a particular quote you live by?
Show up and work hard.
Show up and work hard?
Yep. That's how you
Turn
get.
it off a minute.
That's how
Show
you
up
get.
and work hard. This is the last thing, and then we're going to
You
finish
gotta
up.
have, you can out. I had a boss that I said, "You're not qualified. How did you outlist? How did you get your job?" So I just outlasted everybody else. So
Show up and work. You outlast people.
Yep.
Show up and work hard.
My best advice is enjoy the journey. It's over too soon. Your kids grow up too fast, so enjoy every minute of the journey.
Okay, thanks.
My other favorite
Oh,
was playing
one
the
last
organ
one.
for the Goals, the hockey team, and the Utah Jazz, where you guys got to go.
That
all
was
the
fun.
time.
Enjoy
It
the
was
journey.
fun. And my favorite quote is, it came from a fortune cookie at the sand camp, Sampan. It said, "Life without music is like a journey through the desert without an oasis of water."
It's good. It's good. Enjoy the journey. These are good. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Love you.